So hello to all Ragic users, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what time zone you're in. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you. And this is Fabio from Ragic. And as usual, I have been the webinar host for quite a while. And today in this webinar, I'm going to do a special version to talk about how to generate reports from your Ragic sheets. And those reports are the functions supported in Ragic, and you can quickly access them to basically publish your data into a visual presentation. And we're going to go through quite a few reports today. I will try to go through all of the reports supported, but if I can and if the time doesn't allow me to do so, I may have to split this webinar into 2 episodes. But yeah, I'll try to go through all of them in this webinar. And as for now, let's wait for another few minutes to allow more users to join. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat section, which should be located on the right of your screen if you're watching this webinar on your browser, or it will be on the bottom if you're watching it from like a mobile device. So in the meantime, if you have any questions about Ragic or anything you will basically anything about Ragic or any features or any database requirements you would like to know more about from me, feel free to ask right now. And also a good morning from user Martin Genovac. I apologize if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. And we're actually in a similar time zone. I'm actually located in Tainan, Taiwan right now, which is in the GMT +8 time zone, which I think is about 2 or 3 hours away from Sydney, I guess. I mean, in terms of time zone, not like the flight distance. It takes about like 8 hours to fly from Taiwan to Sydney, I guess. Yep, I was correct. We're 2 hours apart, and it's 9:32 a.m. in my time zone. Yeah, it's actually a bit unfortunate that we can't really fly around to different countries due to the virus pandemic. But yeah, I hope everybody stays safe, and let's just hope that the virus conditions can be better in the near future, I guess. Alright, so it's 9:33 a.m. in my time zone. As I've just mentioned, I'm in the GMT +8 time zone. And let's just get started with our webinar to talk about how to use different reports in your Ragic database. And first of all, for this webinar, since if you need to generate reports, you need to have data prepared already. So I've created some sheets for basically data generation. And most of the reports will come from the CPBL players list. And if you have read one of my articles before about how to create a baseball database, this is from the same sheet. So I have a list of baseball players from one of my favorite baseball leagues, the Taiwan Baseball League. And I will generate most of the reports from there. So let's just click in. So as you can see, I have a lot of entries. I have 364 entries, and I can generate different reports quickly. So if you want to generate a report from your sheet, right here there's a reports button. You can click on this, and it will show you all the reports that are supported for this sheet. And the first one I'm going to go is the dashboard report, which is also on the top of the drop-down menu. So what is a dashboard report? What it basically does is that it generates your data into basically several bar charts, or like those ranking charts with its fields. So this one is like the position. So there are a lot of pitchers and then catchers. This is by team, and this is by the batting arm. This is by their status and pitching arm and their team name, and also their date of birth. These fields, they'll be analyzed in selection fields or in date fields. But also, what's also supported is that you can change the value. You can basically add the height up, which is another numeric field. Well, I mean, this doesn't really make sense, but here's like the total height of all pitchers and all catchers, because I've just changed it. And also, you can also make it into the average. So this one sort of makes more sense, except the bar chart maybe doesn't. But as you can see, the average height of first baseman is the tallest, and it's pitcher, and the shortest are shortstop. So if you do follow baseball, this is actually, I would say this is pretty this is pretty usual, and this is pretty the statistics you would expect. And there's also like a general basically like a general analysis of all records. So the number of records is 364, the total height, the average height, the total weight, and the average weight. So these are analyzed by its numerical fields. And if I go back, let's just go back to the sheet. If I apply a filter, so for example, if I would like to filter it by a certain team, by this Unit President 711 Lions filter, I can apply a filter first and then generate a report. So if I generate a dashboard report after the filter, this will be all applied for the Lions team. So this is basically like the dashboard report for all the Lions teams. And yes, for each analysis, you can analyze it by the number of records or other numerical fields. And that's how a dashboard report works. But yeah, I mean, just as usual, you're just basically presenting your data in a visual presentation. And that's the first, and I would say one of the most essential reports. And the second report I'll be talking about is the ranking report. What it does is that it's similar to a dashboard report, but it's analyzed by one field at a time. And you can change the ranking field, which is like the analysis field. So right now it's analyzing by position with the number of records, and also what also does is the percentage total. So right here it basically says that on this sheet, 49% of all players are pitchers. This is one special thing about a ranking report. And what it also allows you to do is you can generate a pie chart. So if you click on the pie chart, it presents a pie chart of all the values and show its percentages, and you can basically see which, just hover to and see which part of the pie chart symbolizes. And if you would like to click on those numbers, as you can see, these numbers are now clickable. So if I click on the third baseman, the number on the third baseman, it will take me to a sheet that shows all the third basemen. And I think what I just accidentally did was to apply the filter here. So clear filter. So make sure that you need to clear your filters before generating your reports, or it will be applied, or the filter will be applied on your reports. So, or actually, in other words, make sure you apply the correct filter. So if I generate a report again, Now I have no filters. Now it should have the correct values. Ranking report. Well, I didn't remove the filter for the Lions team, but so now the values are correct. The values are correct. So I have 25 third baseman, which is applied correctly when I just clicked in. And I can just click again, and the 25. I have the sheet with all 25 third baseman entries, and it's also done by applying the filter on the sheet too. So as you can see, this icon here, and actually it's clearer right here on the left sidebar. The third baseman is selected. And basically, that's one of the easiest reports generated from Ragic, because what you need to do is to click and generate. That's basically it. There's not like additional settings, which we will go touch on different reports where it requires more settings. And the next report is a grid analysis report called a pivot table. So what a pivot table does is that it analyzes your data with two fields, a column field and a row field. And let's just analyze it by number of records, or you can analyze it by height, weight, or other text values. Let's go column field. I'm going to go by team. And the row field, my apologies, I forgot to remove the filter again. Let's do it all over again. Okay, pivot table, generate. Number of team, and I'm going to go with batting arm. So left, right, and switch, and basically it analyzes each team's the batting arms, left, right, or switch, how they are batting for each team, and it's in like a grid analysis. So it shows the total of each condition. So right here it shows, for this 75, it shows the total number of CTBC Brothers players in terms of their batting arms. Well, they need a record, so each player will have their own record. So yes, that means 75 records. And I can also change the analysis, so I can analyze it by their weight, and I can show averages too. So what it averages is that, of course, this one is not correct. This because I wouldn't say it's not correct, but it's not really practical, since you rarely would analyze like a total weight over team. But what it does is that it analyzes. You can add them up, and then for each field value condition, such as a batting arm, it can publish the averages too on the bottom and on the right. And also you can generate a pie chart, and it shows a pie chart right here. So if you're analyzing since we're analyzing by two fields, there will be two sort of like those two pies, like two layer pies right here, and the left and the right, and of course a switch, which is very small, and then it applies another, I would say the column field values on the pie chart in the outermost area, and it generates from there. And just also like basically also just like the other diagram I just did, you can also click into the record, and it will apply the filter. So I've just applied the filter for right batters in the Fubon Guardians team. And yeah, I'll make sure to clear this time first. And let's go back to I'm not done with the pivot table. And there are also other settings, such as if your field values are longer, you can basically display them as text wrap, or you can also display the column field values vertically, like this, vertical, so your diagram is smaller. Or if you would like to make it into text wrap, it wraps your text to make the grid smaller as well. And also you can analyze it by multiple fields. So by team, I might want to analyze it by their pitching month, the pitching arm, and then I have two columns. So it's sort of like it sort of looks like two pivot tables merged into one, but it's actually one pivot table. Is that mean? So there's left total and a right total and a total of totals. And also I can add another row field such as position. And there are for each position, for each pitching arm, for each batting arm, and for each team. I mean, well, it will be you can add as many as you like, but if you add too many fields, your grid will look a bit complicated. And you can look at this this pie chart. It looks a bit scary, I guess, because we have a lot of fields to analyze, and we have a lot of layers in this pie chart. And that's it for the pivot table. And the next one, I would like to talk about the label maker, which is basically allows you to make print labels from your sheets. Let's leave this. So if I generate them into a label maker, so I can change the label field into for name. I can change the font family, maybe changing the serif. What it does is it generates all the records into labels, which you can print out later to make them into like little stickers or labels if you would like to do. And changing the font size and then all those text settings. And you can also add another field for your label. So instead of name, I will also, other than name, I will also add their position and font size. I might need to make it smaller to make it fit the position, the label, I guess. Make it into 2. And also what I need to do is to make sure the width and the height basically fits the text setting. So right now you can see that some of the those pictures and their positions are, I mean, it's cut off. So I need to make sure that I either have enough width or I have enough height. So I mean, I can test it out. So I made it into 12. And I might want to make the width wider to make sure that their names are allowed to be entered in. Maybe like a 35. So now each label will look correct. And if I would like to, I can also change let me change back into serif. So now it looks in the same font. We don't support like a lot of fonts like Excel or Word, but there are quite a few fonts that you are able to use if you want to generate labels. And also what this works is that I don't have a barcode field right here, but if you have a barcode field, you can generate them with barcodes. So and they will populate by barcodes. So for each product, or in this case players, they will have their own barcodes and they will be displayed, and you can quickly print all of them out. And one thing I forgot to talk about like the report settings for all reports is, first of all, for every report, you can save a report right here. Click save. You need to save a report name, so I'm going to go with CPPL. Here's labels. You can add a descriptions. All name plus picture plus position labels. And you can also apply a filter, which allows your users to select a certain filter when they enter enter this report, but I don't think it's necessary here. And also other settings such as show the title, data source, the border of the report content, show A4 area, or one-page label. Now, I just want to save the report first, so I can just click save. It's up here. And once I've saved it, it will be saved right here down in the CPPL label. So if I click away, then go back to the home page, and I click on the report I just saved, it will apply. It will be you can access it with, and it will generate it with the settings, but with the report settings, but they will generate from your data source sheet at the time of your report access, I would say, yeah. And what you can also do is right here, you can also apply style settings. So other than like the CPPL label, the settings I've just done, you can apply the font for the report name, for the report description, and for the report data source. You can change the font if you would like to, and also you can change like the boundary settings. So right now it's the default boundary width, but you can make it outer and make it wide, make it none, make it standard, or you can change the values of how each boundary you would like, of the boundary, the top, bottom, left, and right boundaries. And you can just close it. And finally, if you have saved basically if you have saved a shared view, like those shared filters on your listing page, you can apply the view on your reports right here in the apply view menu. And I have saved a shared view in the for pictures on my original data source sheet. I can apply it right here, and it will generate, and now all your values, they'll only have the values of pictures. And this is how you're going to generate labels from your Ragic database. And for the next sheet I'm going to talk about is the grouping report. And let's go back to the original sheet, and let's make sure I've cleared all filters and reports. The next one will be called grouping report. So what grouping report does is it basically analyzes your data with different field values as groups. So you can first of all, you need to make sure which group you would like to group by. So these are the fields that you can basically group your data by. So I'm going to group by, let's group by teams again. And let's sort by, you can also sort by how you like to sort your data. So I like to sort by position and make it ascending, and display fields. So which field you would like to display on your sheet. You can click here, and then you'll go to like this field picker thing to show which fields you would like to display on your sheet. So I might not want to display their Chinese name. I don't need their date of birth. I don't need I probably don't want their batting arm. And if you're done, click OK. Every setting is done. Show group total, show all total. I can show you guys later, but let's just create a report first. So what it does is I've just grouped by teams. So all your records will be presented with your group values by your group teams. So the first team, the Rakuten Monkeys, I will show all the players, and I've sorted by position, so it's sorted by position correctly. And for numerical values, it will show the total at the bottom for each group. So each group, this is the Waitron Dragons. Now they have, again, grouped them by each group. The total values of each group, apologies. And then the Uni Prison 7-Eleven Lions, again, go to the bottom, and then the total of all the numerical values of all group value of the numerical fields. And yeah, for each team. And if I would like to, I can apply other settings such as show group total, and I want to show all total, and I want to show the group by fields. So create report. So what I've just done is show all total. So it's at the bottom right here, the total of all totals. And if I select to show the group by fields here, it also showed the team in the display fields. And you can also add record counts to show how many records there are for each group values. So if I click on them and create report, it will show the record count at the top right here. In total, 76 records and 60 records right here. So if I go to the bottom, it should show the all total 364 records. This, again, visually presenting your data is very important, especially if you're giving it to a director or someone that needs to quickly understand what is going on. So basically, you need to organize your data, and using reports is very essential. Let's go back to the top. Yes, I have a lot of records, so scrolling. I have to scroll a bit faster. And you can also reset the column widths. basically resets like the column width if they are not applied correctly. What also you can do is you can group by multiple fields. Group by, I've only selected team, but I want another field, probably like position. Let's go with status. And again, create report. So the first group field is the team, and now for each team, they're going to the second group field, which is their status. The first one is the minors and the unregistered players, and then the registered players in the majors, registered players in the minors for each team. Let's just go to another team. This one is for the Dragons. Again, for the Dragons group, there is a subgroup for the minors unregistered and the minors team. And of course, you can add more fields if you would like. Just click on the plus button and add the field you would like. And also, what I forgot to mention is that there are other features that you can use for reports, such as you can embed this report into like a website if you would like to. Download as a PDF, so you can save your report into a PDF file. Or you can save it as a printer friendly, so if you want to print them in the future. Or of course, you can also print it from your PDF file if you would like to. And that's how to basically generate a grouping report. And just to reiterate, one thing is that these reports are always generated from a Ragic sheet. So it's not like you can simply edit your data. You can't really edit your data on your reports to change them. If you would like to edit your data and apply them on your reports, please go to your original data source sheet for this, as right here. It will show it right here, showing that it's from the CPBL players list. If you would like to make edits, make sure you edit them from here. And my apologies, my computer wasn't able to, was about to run out of battery. So basically, just to make sure that you have to edit them in your data source sheet, and then generate a report again to be applied your edits on your report. All right, so that's it we've just finished the report called the grouping report, and the next one, also from the CPBL, generated from the CPBL sheet, is the Kanban board. Let's go back to our CPBL players list. Make sure I refresh. You can refresh it with, refresh it and make sure that no filters are applied. And I can generate it to a Kanban board, which is basically a Trello board. If you are more familiar with the application Trello, click again Kanban board. You need to, first of all, to generate a Kanban board, you need to make sure that there is a selection field for your categories. So you can, for this, I think status is the best field, because this is a report that you may edit something for your data. And I want to show the name, and I can create the report. Now, as you can see, I have five statuses right here, and this is a selection field. So the status of players, the majors, the minors who are removed from the squad, the minors who are on trial, and the unregistered minors. And I just mentioned that you can edit your entries on this report, but there's only one thing. So if I would like to, let's say I would like to make this person, let's find somebody that, for this Wu Chengyu person, this Wu Chengyu player, he's an unregistered player in the minors. I would like to register him and then make him into the minors team. What I need to do is I can just click on this person, drag it, and then make sure that it's in the right field, right status. So what I've just done is I've just dragged them from unregistered to a minors, and he's well, this is in alphabet. It is in some order. I'm not sure where he is, but he's definitely somewhere in here. And basically what it does is that it changes the status of the sheet as well. So if I go back to the sheet, We go back to CPBL sheet. Just filter by this person. And this person, Cheng Yu Wu. Right now he's in the minors, and there should be a field history. I've just made from minors unregistered to the minors just now, which was just like a minute ago. So this one is done on the Kanban board, and also for other users, what you may use this for, basically like for job tracking, so you can make sure that if a job is completed or needs processing or any statuses, you may use the Kanban board to quickly view and drag statuses, so you don't have to go back to your Ragic sheets. It's very convenient, and again, data processing, we will try to be as efficient as possible. And let's just do it again. I'm just apply a quick filter so you guys could see it clearly. Let's filter it by position and team. So I want a picture of the. Let's make it into a smaller sample, a smaller size. So let's go with third baseman of the Lions team. So I have like 6 players right here. I want to generate a very mini report of mini Kanban board. So this is basically all the 7 players are presented here. There's no one in the minors removed, minors trial, or minors unregistered team. But if I want to change their status, I can just drag it, move them there, and they will be applied. And I can click on the record. I can click on the record to show you guys. And now his status is minors removed for this player, Chao Wei Yang. If I move it again, click on it, he's in minors trial. As you can see right here. So you can quickly edit the data, just like editing like your status on your Trello board. So it's convenient to track for this player statuses, to edit player statuses, or apply what I've just done on your jobs. So they just move him back to where he should belong, and this is the report. And also, if your filters will also be displayed right here at the top. So it shows the data source and what type of data, so the team and the position right here. And finally, for the CPBL players list, the last report I'm going to generate from this sheet is the pie chart. Well, basically, you guys have seen the pie chart on the, I think it was on the ranking report, and I forgot which report it was, but was it the pivot table, I guess? Well, basically it works similar. So let's just generate a pie chart quickly from here. A report and a pie chart. And you can select the values we would like to analyze, so number of records, weight, or height. So it's either number of records or a numeric field. And which is the field category we would like to analyze. So it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. So number of records, let's go with team. And when selected, it shows you a pie chart of all teams. And if you need further analysis on another field, you can select another field. I'm going to add status. So analyze by team and analyze by status. And you'll also have like this grid right here showing like the numerical values. As for this situation is for the number of records, it will be shown right here. And right now that's for the CPBL players list, the reports generated from the CPBL players list. And right now I'll be using other sheets to show you guys how to use the other reports. And the first one I'm going to use is the calendar report. For the calendar report, I'm going with the next sheet called the appointment schedule. So if I have made an appointment schedule right here, if I would like to generate them into a calendar report, so first of all, you need to make sure that you have date fields right here. And it's best for if you have 2 date fields, because It shows the start time and the end time, and it shows like the time range of your event. So let's generate a report called the calendar report. So it's calendar right here. So I've just your events will be marked on your calendars. You can click to basically, there will be like a fly in to show the details of the entry, and you can quickly change. You can change like the start time, select end time, and the title, the event name. So the start time, the start date, I would like it to be in the start time. The select end time is the end date. I would like it to be the end time. And why I suggest you guys to have 2 date fields or 2 time fields to show the start time and the end time is because if I make it into let's say day, and let's go back to for September 14th. If I have a start time and an end time, you can show it by days, and it will basically present it in like this grid form to show you like the schedules for each day. If you don't, then it will be hard to present it correctly. And you can also show like the intervals. So change the interval. So if you want to change it to a 15-minute interval, when does your day start? When does your day end? And it can show the hour line as well. So there's these dashed lines to show like the hour lines. And just make sure that you're on the right page, the right days if you want to present your days correctly, and your events will also be the presentation will be modified accordingly. Also, one thing that I need to specify is that for all reports, like those sizes, such as these text sizes or like those box sizes, these are decided on your browsers. So there's no way to like modify like the size of the probably like for other reports, like the display of your field values. Sometimes you may have a very, very wide field value when you're doing report analysis, but unfortunately there's no way to change it because it's decided on your browsers, unless you apply different filters or other settings. But you can't change like the size of your grids, your boxes, or basically like the size of those default texts, unless it's allowed to, such as the label makers, and I don't think there are many reports that allow that. And this is how your schedules will be presented. And another report that I would like to do is the Gantt chart. So if I go to the Gantt chart, again from the appointment schedule, I can generate this sheet into a Gantt chart. And again, you need to select the start date, the start time, and the end time. The time scales, I would like to make into hours. Which category and which label. The label I would like it to be event name, sort by, or show other fields. So create report. So if I do it by hours, you can show that I have an event called a marketing meeting, and right here, advertising meeting and the monthly directors meeting. So if you like to use it as a Gantt chart, you may present your data this way, and basically you can make your settings accordingly at the top. What you may also do is you can show other fields, such as I would like to show the location and event. I actually showed the event name already, and I select the hide past data. So if it's already past today's date, it will be hidden, so we can create a report. It shows the location of each record. So I have the location I've added for meeting room A, S, Z, but I've hidden past data, so a few records are hidden already. But if I go to, I think it's this one, it will show the data, the record that has the event is on September 20th. My apologies for the stuttering. But if I decide not to hide past data, again, create report. It will show the reports in accordingly with the other fields, such as meeting rooms for this case. The situations for each meeting room will be presented in your Gantt chart. And just remember that you apply the settings right here. And again, just to reiterate, if you want to use it again in the future, make sure you click save to save the report. Apply different settings. You can change some of the font, the general font, but I mean, it's only like the general font, but not like those specifies for each field or for each grid or box separately. No, you can't do that. You can also change the boundary. And don't forget that if you want to print it out or save it as a PDF, it's also done right here in the 3 dots here. And for the next report I would like to do is the to-do list, which is another report that allows you to edit your entries, although in a limited mode in your sheets. So for example, if I go to a to-do list, for this sheet, if you need to create a to-do list, make sure you have I've added a due date and another date field, which is for to modify data. What I mean modify data is if I click on reports, click on to-do list, it will generate these records into a to-do list. So choose a field to record the finished date of a task, complete date. So what's special for this is that if I click like this box right here showing that it says complete, and what it does is that if I go, it will show the completed time, which is the time of my click. I didn't change the time zone correctly, so it should be, this one's a GMT +0 time zone, but completed in this time. And just make sure that you have your field values correctly. If I click all on this again, it's applied quickly on your sheets. It was supposed to be empty, but now it's not, because I've just clicked on it and it applies the current time of my click. And of course, I'm on this webinar, I've completed it, I can click on this, and yes, it's applied. So this is similar to, if you guys are using the task thing, I was going to say it's a thing, but like the task feature, it's similar. So if you finish a task, you can click it and you'll notify the assigned or related people, showing that it's completed. But if not, but what's different right here is that when you click on it, it shows the time of your click and it will apply on your sheet. So if I go back to the to-do list, it will show like the completed time right here, and of course in the listing page as well, since listing page and form pages are very tightly connected. So if you have a lot of work, and you may save a to-do list and basically refer to it and mark that you've completed it, and they'll automatically apply the time of completion on that sheet. And we're actually going through the reports much faster than what I've expected, and we're down to the last two reports that will be generated from your Ragic sheets. The next one is called the address mapping reports. So what I've done is I've recorded all the MLB stadium addresses right here. So if you have the address fields are recorded on your sheets, you can display all the records and all the addresses on a map. So click on reports, address mapping. And if you have more than 10 addresses, it will take some time, but why not? So I'm just going to let it generate, and you can also make it small. We use Google Map for generating these entries, and you can sort of like minimize it to see like the whole map of for the United States and Canada. As you can see, like these values are still like generating because I have quite a few records and the system needs time. And my apologies, because my map, I can't change the language of my map unless I change unless I change like the language of my whole computer. I primarily use traditional Chinese, so Google Map uses traditional Chinese for the map, unfortunately. So now all the records are generated. I can click on this, and it will show like the records details. What I can also do is I can select the fields to be displayed. So I can show the address fields, because I can show the address if I like to, but what I can do is to show the address. Now it's going to take more time because it needs to generate it again. Just let the system generate, because it needs Google Map to also work as well. And if for our mapping options, such as if you like to show like the map on just like editing an address field and to show the location, or to click on a location to populate the address fields, we always use Google Map for this to work. Which I guess most of you guys do use the same tool, so you guys should be familiar with them as well. So I've just clicked on show address, and it will show the address of basically the address of all stadium names. And if you have other labels you would like, you cannot, like the main label is I've used the stadium name, but if I would like to change them into a tenant, basically the tenant, which is the team that owns the field, New York Yankees, they own this field, and they will show the address. Again, changing the label, the system will take time to generate a new mapping report. It's basically like a refreshing option of your report once for a mapping report, since it will need the map. It will need to generate like the addresses on the map. Is it possible to have hyperlink in the pin? It's currently not supported, but I would like to know which, for user Clifford Lee, for the hyperlink, where would you like the hyperlink to go to? If possible, if you would like to tell me how the hyperlink where the hyperlink should go. Should it go to the record or should it go elsewhere? Please tell me, and I will see if it's doable with other tools, or we can submit a feature request. And in the meantime, the system, I think it has finished generating. Yes, in the text. What it does, if you click on the text, or if you click on the pin, it will show you like the related record in the fly-in. If you need to go to the record, just click this. Just click this little icon, and you will go to the record. And since everything is done in your Ragic, you can't go elsewhere. So I guess this is what you're meaning about. And I think this is our last report is the line graph. So for the line graph, I've made a mock of ticket sales. Well, make sure, first of all, line graph, numeric values and with certain dates will work the best. So I can generate a line graph from here. So for example, if I have 10 games on 10 different dates, it will show the number of tickets sold and the revenue. These are mock revenues. I'm just guessing the revenues of each day of ticket sales. And line graph. So in the line graph, you're going to do your analysis settings. So all data, show the total or average of dates. So And you can also show total and show all values. And what do you want to analyze on the y-axis, which is the vertical axis? So I want to show the number of tickets sold. And what is the x-axis? Make sure that it's a date field, or it will use the create date. I want to make the date of the games. And it will show like this line, generate a line graph like this, showing you the trend of your ticket sales for this. And you can generate by daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. But for my case, since I've only published the dates for basically published the ticket sales for several days in like a 10-day time range, so I'm going to use daily. And if you need to change another analysis, you can just change the field right here, change it to revenue. Now you have another first of all another y-axis and another line graph right here. On the other hand, although this won't work really well with this, but you can analyze two values at once. But if you like to analyze two values at once, it will be best if their values basically share like the same y-axis. So you may have like a revenue of one team and a revenue of another team at the same time range, or similar. Or another case, a revenue of one product and a revenue of another product. But for this is sort of like a counter example. If revenue in the y-axis and then the number of tickets sold, actually I should do it the other way. Number of tickets sold and revenue. So it will primarily, basically your axes will look really weird because these values are very different. The number of tickets sold, it will be like very bottom, but the number of revenues will be at the very top. So make sure that, so let's just make it normal again. So number of tickets sold, and right here it will show the line graph, and if you hover to a dot, it will show like the value of the day. You can select to show total or show all values. If you select to show total, then it will basically present your data in like, it will color the bottom part of your line graph, and your line graph will show the number of tickets sold and also show the total. It's on the same what you call it, the same line, because I only have one value for each date. And you can select to show all values, but that will only apply if you have a lot of entries. If you have a lot of entries, it will only show like the certain values, because the system, first of all, your graph will have a lot of dots, which isn't ideal for most people. But if you would like to, you can still select to show all values. And yes, it will also present your values showing it at the top right here. So you don't need to like hover to it and then show it in another way. And this is basically all the reports that can be generated from your Ragic database, but there are also other reports. So let's just go to the home page, the system reports. So my apologies. If you need to add a report, first of all, is the user status report. Oops, my bad. And let the report generate. I've just clicked it, and it will show you all the status of all your users. This is a system report, and it will show you like the name, email, last login IP, last login time, how many times it logged in, the frequency, and the finished and unfinished tasks, and all the other settings if applied. You can clearly see the status of all your users at a glance. And where do they install them? It's in the install templates, and it's in the system reports. So we have two types of system reports here. One is called the user status report. One is called the pending approval report. I've just installed the user status report, and let's see the pending approval report. But I haven't applied the any approval workflows, approval workflows in my sheet. I see, whoops, there's a bug right here. So, all right, I guess the report is. So all right, so let me just quickly create an approval workflow. So to show you guys how the pending approval report works. So approval step 1, Terry Wright. Exit, start approval. And report pending approval. So as you can see, all your approvals will be listed in your pending approvals right here. These are the approvals that requires you to approve, and approvals related to you is like if the approval step is related, if the task is related to you. So you can approve or reject all selected records. It will be presented in like a list of all records, and you can select to approve or reject all selected records. And since you'll be modifying a lot of records at once, we require you to enter your password to identify yourself for approval. So make sure you re-enter your password again. And for this, I forgot which password I used. And you can select approve. Please select the records you would like to approve and click approve. And it does a batch approval for all the records in here. And if you're like other user's deputy, you can proceed the approval as another user, but I haven't set that up yet. So you can basically change like the user you would like to approve with if you are the deputy of that user. And it'll also show the statuses related to you. So batch report completed. Congrats. Now I have all the reports and all the approval is done. In the let's just go through that record. Yeah, I've just approved it. So approved it correctly, and this is how the pending approval report works. It will be very handy if there are a lot of approval tasks that may be related to you and need to approve them at once. And basically that's how to use the different Ragic reports. And one thing I forgot to mention is that other than clicking the reports button on your sheets, you can also go to the let's just go to the front homepage, it's easier. You can also add new report from here. So if I would like to add a new dashboard report from my line for my what you call this, from the CPBL players list, I can click the dashboard report and select the report sheet for the report data source. And ta-da, I've just generated a report from the CPBL players list. And these are all the reports supported from Ragic database that allows you to quickly generate from your Ragic sheets. And basically what we just went through is to go through how each report works and all the settings you may apply on each report. Also, for every report, you can apply views. You can save them to use them again, generate them again quickly in the future with the settings you've applied. Or you can also apply different style settings, embed reports, download as PDF, and printer friendly. That's for all reports. We've also touched on the system reports just now, the user status reports to see all your users' statuses, and also the pending approval report that allows you to quickly approve or view all approvals related to you. And that's basically it for this webinar, which got smoother than what I expected. And right now I'm open to any questions if you guys have any about this webinar or using Ragic reports or anything about Ragic in general. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them right now. For use from user Clifford Lee, I assume that reports have to be regenerated when there is new data. Basically, what the report does is that if you have updated your data or updated your filters, it will be applied directly on your reports, even if they are saved. What the saving the report does is that it saves like the settings and how you like to display like what fields you've selected to analyze. But like if you have updated your data on your Ragic sheets, it will be applied the next time you access your reports. I mean, basically it applies directly, but you still need to refresh it. So I would say that the next time, if you update on your sheets, and it won't be automatically applied on reports, but if you refresh it, it should be applied. From user Martin Drenovac, great presentation. I'm just starting to look through Ragic. Brilliant. The responsiveness is so quick. What is the tech stack out of interest? The tech stack. Well, basically we are Java based, and we're a special NoSQL database. And if you're talking about like the servers, we use Google servers and Amazon servers that are located in Taiwan for Asia Pacific servers, and Belgium for Euro servers, and also the United States for North American servers. We're Java based, and also if you like to, since Ragic is mainly for the database customization without any codes. However, if you would like to add different JavaScripts or API concatenation, we openly expose our API to do so, and you may also write your own JavaScripts for certain workflows if you would like to. And feel free to ask any questions if you guys have any right now. And if you would also like to have more in-depth information about Ragic, feel free to send us an email to support@ragic.com. Let me just type in the chat box right here. This email allows you, basically this email is our support email. So if you have any questions about Ragic, you need to, such as how to design a certain sheet, what is the best workflow for your ideal situation, or even if you just like to understand Ragic more in general, feel free to submit your questions to support@ragic.com, and our support staff will be getting in touch with you. But just also make sure that please be in depth and provide us with as much details so we can understand what you need and what you would like us to help you with. Also, if you have registered your Ragic database, let me just go back to the sheet quickly, and right here. Also, if you're registered in the Ragic database, we have the need help button right here to submit a support ticket, and you can create a support ticket and enter your information, enter your details, the subjects, upload the files such as screenshots of video recordings if you have experienced any bugs, or the files or the Excel files or that you are currently using, and you may submit and grant Ragic support access to your account. So by submitting this, we will have access to your account, and if you would like us to not have access in the future, you can suspend us at any time. So if you guys are new to Ragic or just trying to understand Ragic, What I would suggest you guys do is just register an account, because first of all, registering is free. We won't ask for a credit card until you make your subscriptions. So, I mean, there's no charge. You can play with it in the free plan. You can create 3 customized sheets and add the fields you need, or use our templates unlimitedly. If you would like to have further testing, we also provide you with a 30-day free trial using the professional plan. And basically you have access to all features, create as many sheets as possible, create as many entries as you would like, etc. And also for the 30-day free trial, we will still not ask for your credit card. It's also completely free. You won't need to worry about, you won't need to worry about, like, I don't know, monetary frauds from us, because we won't even ask for your credit card at that time. We will only ask when you decide to make a paid subscription. And let's just wait for another few minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know right now. Also, out of my personal interest, I would like to give a special thank you to user Clifford Lee, since thanks for participating for all webinars. I've seen you many times in my previous webinars, and we've asked also very interesting questions and very educational questions that would help Ragic and also help other Ragic users. And so, personally, I would like to thank you a lot, and hope to see you again in the future webinars too. So it's 10:38 a.m. in my time zone, in the GMT +8 time zones, and I guess it's a good time to conclude this webinar. And thanks to all users for participating in this webinar. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And as for this webinar, we'll see you next time.